I think far too many of us are using the wrong driver loft, and it's seriously costing you yards, seriously costing you improvements in your game and lower scores. So we're going to sort this right out for you today. Let's make sure you've got the right loft in your hand to complement your swing speed to allow you to hit it that little bit further. And this is not going to go into all the jargon. We're going to give you the most simple way of thinking about this. Now let's get into this video. I want you to get in those comments. This is really important for this video. It's all about what swing speed you have to allow you to become the most efficient driver of the golf ball and get this flying longer and easier. So get in those comments, what is your swing speed? And if you don't know that, don't worry, this is going to help you explain. So also on the side of the screen here, I'm going to put up sort of 3 categories. A fast swing speed, you've got your sort of medium, and then you've got your slower. Now, as we're looking at these now, in general terms, what we're going to see is the faster your swing speed, the less spin we actually need in our launch characteristics, and the lower launch that we can have to get this ball going a long way, in its most simple terms. The slower you swing this, the higher the launch we need, and the more spin that we need. Now, I think many golfers fall into that category of a little bit of a slower swing speed than they actually predict, but then they actually use a lower loft. So even though if you fall into that lower category, there's that sort of, I guess, macho nature in us that says, you know what, I've got to use that 9.5 degree, I've got to use that 8.5 degree, but actually it's costing you in distance and accuracy. And I'm going to explain this now. So for argument's sake on this video, we're going to say that this is our golf ball, this pink cone, okay? Our blue line is our angle of attack, and we're just going to say that's 0, just to make this really nice and simple. We know obviously it can change, it can be a little bit different with driver, and sometimes what loft we have on the driver can change to what we display at impact. But let's look at this in its most simple model. If we are somebody that's maybe 105 to 110 miles an hour in club head speed, we can get away with launching it lower. Now, we look at this in a simple form and say, well, to launch it lower, we're probably going to have a lower lofted driver. So if I bring my golf club in here, we're probably going to have a lower lofted driver, because that's going to help me bring in lower loft at impact. A smaller angle between red and blue, lower spin and lower launch. Our golf ball would sort of launch in the middle of here, and this vector would highlight our spin. Now let's look at this slightly differently. Get into that category. If we're a golfer who has a slower swing speed but still getting that low lofted driver, you could see how you're not going to create enough spin and this ball's not going to carry as far. So what we've got to understand here is, if we're swinging it slower, let's loft our driver up. I want you to promise me that you're going to do this. Got bad knees there, I can't kneel down for that long. I want you to promise me that you're going to do this. Lower loft, no good. Let's higher that loft, because that tells us, right, if we higher the loft, we're going to generally higher our launch and increase our spin, because we're going to increase this vector between our red and our blue. And that is what is quite a complicated topic. It can actually be thought about nice and simply. Now, if we look at this and said, out on the golf course, next time you play, do this for me. Most of drivers right now are adjustable, maybe by 0.5 degree, some by 1 or 2 degrees, some ones you can set them to draw, or whatever that might be. I want you to just add 1 degree for me. Do this in a social round and see how much better you drive this golf ball. I have done this with so many golfers that have come to me for lessons with slower swing speeds, maybe a little bit more of a senior age bracket as well, and it has reformed how they drive it. So if I stand over this now, and you could be in that situation where you had a little bit more loft, you swung it the same, you allow it to launch a little bit higher, bit more spin, you're going to be able to keep that golf ball in the air for much longer. For much, much longer. Because we all swing it a little bit slower than we actually think. So get out on that golf course, try this out for me, stand behind it, trust that you're going to be able to hit that driver so much better. See that much higher launch and help you hit it so much better. And I think you'll find you'll start hitting it a little bit straighter as well. Now, a good point has just been raised. You might be sat there thinking, well, Alex, I play a windy golf course. Well, all these things have to be taken into account, and you've got to think, will this suit my style of play? Now, I'm saying on paper, a slower swing speed requires a higher launch and more spin to keep that ball in the air a little bit longer. A faster swing speed requires the opposite, a little bit less spin and a little bit of a lower launch. Now, you've got to go to your PGA professional. I want you to, if you're having lessons right now, ask him this question. What are my launch conditions? Am I launching it in the most efficient place for my golf swing? Also, let's have a look at this as well, because we also know most modern fairway woods are adjustable too. Now, I've been banging on about this for absolutely ages, and I really think that we should be looking at more lofted clubs. So I've actually gone 5-wood this year, and I'll put another link to a video of me talking about why. But have a look at this. Go and grab your fairway wood as well. If you're lofting your driver up by 1 degree, let's loft this up by ½ degree and see that ball get in the air just that little bit better. And you know what? A little bit more loft, a little bit more forgiveness, going to help you play much better golf. I really do hope you've enjoyed this video. It's a short one today, but it's a good one. If you did enjoy this, don't forget there is a PDF guide attached to all these videos. The link to them is all down below. Don't forget to join that, subscribe, and thanks for watching.